The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Is Kiefer Sherwood the next Sam Bennett? Maybe not, probably not, but probably and maybe if you do the math. Let's talk about it.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks here on Locked On Canucks, a show brought to you by FanDuel. Yes, FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com. Use code LOCKEDONNHL. Boom, bam, your first $5 bet wins. You get $150 in bonus bets. Like I said, we back. We talking about your Canucks here at the Don't Doze Art Lab. My name's Kyle Bowen, and Kiefer Sherwood. Kiefer Sherwood. We got to talk about that man. A couple days ago, the last time we were around, we talked to a robot. Yeah, right. We entered in some digits. Tapped the keyboard, pressed enter. We said, build us the Vancouver Canucks next season. Predict a lot of their moves. And one of their moves was trading Kiefer Sherwood, leaning into him, possibly being at peak powers. Maybe he has turned himself into quite the sweetener in a deal, and maybe him alongside this prospect in a first-round pick could get you that second-line center. Again, Sherwood the sweetener. And it made me think, because we got to do the math, right? This guy's a UFA. This guy's coming off a career year. I'm assuming the fancy stats like the guy, and I'm also assuming that his shooting percentage was high, right? That's like the number one thing doubters like to say when, estimating the future of a player that just had a career year later in his life. And yeah, I'm assuming that's there. Like, it can't get better than that. In fact, Kiefer Sherwood, for the most part, look at his hockey career, look at his professional hockey career, right? Just about to, enter the 30s. Or he's at that part of his timeline, and it took him that long for him to get 40 points, 19 goals. If you do the math long term, that's it. That's the peak. If anything, he's a 25 to 35 point guy. He had a really good year last year, but that's it. That's it. But I'm here to tell you there's a chance, a small chance, and maybe this is because I'm 32 and a half years old, and dude, I'm trying to reach my potential somewhere in my 30s and just keep pushing it up the ladder, right? I'm trying to be like Kiefer Sherwood, because a part of me, based on his character, based on his skill set, just based on the Quinn Hughes cosign, there's a part of me that believes this guy believes he's still way better than a lot of us think he is, and he wants to prove it. And now hockey's really fun for him, right? He's breaking hit records, NHL hit records, a great forechecker. Again, that's why Quinn Hughes wanted him on the team. And then boom, bam, look what happened. 40-point guy, right? 19 goals, 21 assists. Scoring a lot of nice goals too. And if you look at his AHL numbers, and if you hear what Satir Shah said, right? Months before this guy even played one game with the Vancouver Canucks, there's underlining data saying that, this guy's actually a solid hockey player. And maybe, this is part of his legacy. Again, the NHL hit record is his now. He's always been a tenacious player, especially down the road in his professional hockey career. And now he's got the offense going. He's got the UFA year coming up. Again, we're going to get the most out of him this year, but a part of me believes that the Canucks do extend this guy. Again, they got to sign this guy tomorrow. If they do give him $4 million, if they do use the Dakota Joshua money and then some to keep this guy around for the next 4 years, after this, there's a chance, that he's a 20-goal guy, that he's still, one of the best forecheckers in the league. And look at Sam Bennett. His career high in points is 51 points. I guarantee if Kiefer Sherwood had a good JT Miller, a positive JT Miller, or a positive Elias Pettersson, or a good Elias Pettersson, again, the trickle-down effect would have inflated Sherwood stats even more because that guy was a dog on a bone, and he was actually scoring some nice goals, creating offense, and a lot with that heavy shot. A lot of last year in the offseason, a lot of times we spent glorifying Daniel Sprong's shot, right? Oh, he's got one of the best shots in hockey. Boom, bam, bada bing, bada. Dude, Kiefer Sherwood has one of the best shots on this team. And now he's married, man. You know what I'm saying, dude? Come on, man. Love's a powerful drug. And he's a UFA. Money's a powerful drug too. Kiefer Sherwood may be doing it. And that's picking up like 50 to 55 points this year. And again, Quinn Hughes co-signed him based on what he did in the playoffs against the Canucks in 6 games. Like, this guy, to me, can be a playoff guy. And when you get the Quinn Hughes co-sign, that guy's so intelligent, such a genius in his own right. He's probably right. Like, that guy's a hell of a player. And it went from like, and make sure you get him to like, make sure you keep this guy. Sherwood in a long playoff run would be annoying. He would hurt players like he hurt Quinn Hughes. He laid the boom. Such a spark plug. And I wonder if because he, excels and is able to have another career year, that B, he becomes a big part of the leadership committee here in Vancouver. What did he say about Jason Dickinson, right? He's going after him for what he did to Filipino. Like, that's the guy I want at the top of the pecking order for my Vancouver Canucks. Speaking at the top of my pecking order, or whatever that means, I don't know if that's a Canadian saying or a U.S. saying, we got the one and only Mother Knucker, straight from the United States of America, hopping on right now. We paid the phone bill. We're allowed this long-distance phone call. Let's do it here on Locked On Canucks. Boom, bam. Mother Knucker's back in the Canucks closet, in the Canucks locker room, wherever he is. Mother Knucker, I want to ask you how you're doing, but this is the first question I want to ask, okay? How much are you paying Kiefer Sherwood?
Damn, bro. I'll tell you what, man. He is he's valuable for what he brings, the skills that he brings, the edge that he brings, and the offense. He has some finesse to his game, man. You saw him in front of the net. I remember a few times when Dak last year, before he had the ball cancer, when he was real soft hands in front of the net and coming in, on the not so much breakaways, but just coming in on tight on the goalie and real close, man, being able to get the puck bar down real close. I see the same thing with Sherwood. I see a gritty player that has an offensive upside. And also I see a leader in Kiefer. I really do. I think that guys, they see what he does and they want to follow that. And I think that's a pretty good quality to possibly earn an A.
Hey, you never know, man. He has those qualities. I like his story. And look at this comment from Callum, right? Another guy that did have an A, I'm pretty sure, was Alex Burrows at some point in his career. And that guy was a journeyman. And Callum saying, Sherwood is the closest carbon copy to Alexander Burrows. And, Burrows, again, his stats were inflated because he was playing with Hall of Famers, and Daniel Henrik were, competing with Ovechkin and Crosby in 2009 all the way to 2012, right? They were that damn good. That being said, if all goes well for the Canucks, and we got to hope it does, like Elias Pettersson, broader shoulders, right? He's benching probably a plate 25, I'm guessing, right? Getting a bit bigger. If he has a fun season next year, I already know him and Kiefer Sherwood are going to have some time together. And a part of me feels like Elias needs a guy like Kiefer by him, a.k.a. another Alex Burrows, a guy that's going to go into the fight, draw some noise, stand up for Pettersson too. Like, there's some swagger to that guy, and I think Pettersson needs that. And again, I don't know if you've seen it, and we barely saw Pettersson succeed last year, but I feel like there was some points where those two had a little bit of chemistry, and it was carried by Kiefer Sherwood.
Yeah, no doubt. You know what? You keep evoking a little bit of Burrows, but look what I'm wearing, baby. I'm wearing Burrows beats the Blackhawks 426-11. Look at that, baby. Look at that. Look at that. Shout out, Bird. Shout out, Bird. But see, what's up?
Where'd you get that? Did he make that, or were they selling that in Vancouver when Burrows scored that goal?
Bro, I got this ish on eBay right after it happened, dog. Like, come on, dude, because I hated the Blackhawks so much, and I needed this, man. I needed this to just put it in my boys' faces, like, yo, F you, man. We slayed the dragon.
Like that, man. Yeah, but speaking of the Blackhawks, I mean, and you talked about Kiefer being a leader, and again, you can answer the question about Burrows or Sherwood. Like, again, look at what Sherwood said after Chicago Blackhawks forward Jason Dickinson took a dirty shot at Filipino, and Filipino was barely a Canuck. He was there for a couple of weeks, but Kiefer Sherwood, a guy who hasn't made a lot of money in his NHL career. Don't get me wrong, he's doing well, but he was willing to, get fined for openly threatening Jason Dickinson. But it's hockey. It's hockey, and I'm sorry. Maybe people are getting softer these days. Actually, it's kind of turning the other way. But to me, that threat was a sign of leadership. Okay, at least somebody gives a puck about his teammates in that locker room.
Yeah, you know what, too, KB. When Keith said that, it really, for me, it wasn't like he was saying, "I'm going to drop the gloves with him. I'm going to beat his ass." He was saying, "Keep your head up, man. Keep your head up, because if you're on the tracks and you don't see the train coming, your ass is going to get laid out by Kiefer Sherwood." And honestly, man, like, that's the energy that Kiefer brings, man. Like, he really elevates this team. And I want to say, while we're on the subject of Kiefer Sherwood, I was thinking the other day, what is the identity of this team? What is the identity? Strong defense, strong goaltending. Okay, I'm gonna have to admit this one. We got Kane now. Now obviously Kiefer, but we're getting gritty, bro. Like, we're getting pretty gritty. And I think that we're going to be a team that just mucks it up with people. We're probably going to win some games 3-2, 4-3, whatever. But I think we're going to hurt some people. I think we're going to see some guys getting put, a couple of days out because Kiefer and Kane and other guys they're gonna be running them off the track. So I'm excited about this team. I'm a little pessimistic about the offensive upside, but I see the grit, I see the defense, and I see everything from there. So we're on the right track.
Yeah, and on that note, man, I would have wanted to see that level of grit with Dakota Joshua being a part of it. But now that he's gone, we have to move on from that, because at the end of the day, like, Joshua, Kane, and Sherwood would have caused a ruckus. They would have added some certainty to, like, the identity of that forward group. Like, they're going to be finishing checks, and they're going to be annoying, and they're going to draw some penalties. But again, Joshua's gone. And because of that, we got to move on. But hey, maybe the Canucks, they have to be proactive and get rid of that contract, because they want to sign Kiefer Sherwood ASAP. And again, busy summer. Dude just got married. It's a quiet time in August right now. But I wonder if, like, before the season starts, they get that contract done. Because let's say you and I are right, and Kiefer Sherwood, I don't know, still is a leader, putting up 40 points, plays with Pettersson, maybe he gets to 50 points. You never know. The guy, again, did a lot of that work last year by himself. He's going to cost this team a lot more. And they priced themselves out of Pius Suter there was reports that the Canucks did try to maybe get Suter for $4 million too. I don't know. Because if that was the case, like, why didn't he stay? Anyways, if they don't sign Sherwood this offseason, I think there's a 51% chance that Sherwood's going to cost you $1.5 million more in 12 months. So maybe right now you can get him for 3.5 or 3.75 or maybe 4. Who knows? I looked at some fancy stat charts, and they're like, oh, this guy's worth 4.25. But at the end of the day, maybe you can get him for like 3.75 to 4.2 as opposed to 5, because the cap is going up. And if this guy breaks another NHL hit record, Pettersson has a good year, and Sherwood is, benefiting off of that. It maybe gets himself to 50 points. And then we just saw what happened with Sam Bennett too. Again, Sam Bennett has the perennial, he's like a legacy player. Like, he's a couple other playoff runs away, and maybe even another, like, Olympic gold medal away, if he gets one, to be in a Hall of Famer. Like, that guy's a great player, but I don't know, like, because of the Bennett players like that are going to be attracting, and you want to keep them. And I don't know, Sherwood could get paid, man. He could get paid $5 million a year. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised.
You know what? So you mentioned, before I jumped on, you mentioned that that Huggy lobbied for Keith, and that's the truth, right? So how much do you think this could affect Huggy possibly being swayed, because he sees the guy that not only he lobbied for, but he sees the Gino to his Pavel. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there could be something there where he feels like he has some protection as long as Keeper's in that lineup.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ask me, if Keeper's putting up, let's say he's putting up 2020, 250 hits, and agitating the shit out of people, the ish out of people.
Yeah,
I'm giving him 4, 5, 5 a year for 3-4 years.
Yeah, the cap's going up. It's gonna happen, man, and someone's gonna give it to him. And again, I think early on we could exaggerate numbers, and there's some people thinking that Suter was gonna get the same thing, right? Because he's a good penalty killer as well. Sherwood's a good penalty killer, and to some extent we were really, really wrong on that. But again, and Sherwood's just a quote unquote sexier player, and maybe that would help him out in the market, because even though Suter killed it last year and he's a really cerebral, smart player, he's quietly really good. And maybe that lost him like $250,000 or $500,000. Whereas Sherwood, again, he's one of Paul Bissonnette's favorite players, you know? Like, I know and his agent's gonna be smart. If Sherwood, again, whether he's doing 2020 again or he's doing 2023 and 27, whatever, whether he gets better offensively or not, the fact that he's gonna be finishing checks, doing his thing, 1 year left, Bissonnette likes him. You can see him get on Spittin' Chicklets one day. Like, his agent's gonna put him in positions to be a bit of a spark plug in the league. I can see that. And, teams are going to want that guy. And I wonder if the Canucks have to sign him right now. And I don't want to go too far because he is just Kiefer Sherwood, and you do want to prioritize your money for that second line center. And that's why you traded Dakota Josh for, right? Isn't that why you did it? But let's say you can't find that guy. Can they go back to the negotiation table and just try their hardest to maybe get a guy that's been a journey? Like, let's also pump the brakes a bit. This guy's been a journeyman for a long time. Like, maybe you can get him to bite on a 3-year deal worth $10 million or 9 point. I don't know. Maybe, you never know, because it's like, I just got married. There's some money on the table. Who knows? Anything can happen. You could get lucky too in a contract negotiation and try to win this one and save some money for later on.
Yeah, I would say right now you're definitely going to benefit from approaching him in his camp right now with maybe a smaller deal, but with a little bit more term. So say something like 3 or 3.5 times 4, or you might come at him with a 4 times 3. And I think that because if he does produce up to what he's projected to for this next season, he's going to be producing at about a 4.55 level.
Yep.
And so that could very easily price us out of his desire. So yeah.
Yeah. And okay, before I continue, do you have more time? Do you want to stay for like 5 or 10 minutes, or do you got to go? Let me know.
No, bro. My wife's up in Chicago. Ironically, I do have this on. I'm actually in the closet because my mom is visiting. And she's out running errands. So if you start hearing the dogs go crazy, it's just because my mom coming to the house. It's all good.
That's okay. Okay, so I'm gonna run a little break here, and we'll talk more about Kiefer Sherwood. Read some comments, and I want to bring up a comment that Alvin made last year, and I think it's reminding me that maybe it's impossible that we lose this guy, because Alvin kind of alluded to it last year to some extent. Anyways, let's shout out FanDuel. One love to you and you and you and you. Hit the like button, subscribe. Happy wife, happy life, and we gotta talk about Trevor Beggs too, man, because. Anyways, you're listening to Locked On Canucks. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Trevor Beggs' second favorite game, and every time I mention Trevor Beggs from now on, I may start crying. More on that in a couple minutes and later next week. Anyways. Trevor Beggs, man, again, likes to play FanDuel, likes to, get in on the action, whether it be baseball, soccer, boxing, the WNBA, right? There's some interesting parlays being thrown on the court at the WNBA games. And you can get on the action, man, and use FanDuel, okay? FanDuel, new daily promotions, makes it easy and fun to get creative, and, just adds a simple way to place a bet, right? And fast and easy payouts, man. This stuff feels like you're in Vegas. Boom, bam, right away in your hands. It's FanDuel, man. And right now, new customers get what? $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Do yourself a favor. If you like getting in on the action, and do so responsibly at FanDuel.com. Once again, that's FanDuel.com. People, we back with Mother Nucker and Kyle Bowen. No Trevor Beggs. Again, before we talk more about Sherwood, let's give Trevor Beggs the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to go into the details. I don't want to get emotional. I want to let this guy have the stage. But Mother Nucker, again, let him have the stage to make the announcement himself. But what do you like about Trevor Beggs? And I'm not gonna say what are you gonna miss because I don't want to go there, but what's been your favorite memory of Trevor Beggs on Locked On Canucks?
I mean, besides the fact that he's just a male rocket, I love the insight that he brings, man. Like he brings unbiased. He brings, honestly, man. Like I liked our back and forth that we had between like the whole, the grit, the goon, and all the other stuff. And then when he was giving me shade about Evander Kane, I was like, and that's why I like Beggsy because he can have a good discussion and still have his passion and his reasoning behind it, but at the same time, at the end of the day, I mean, he is here to put out the best story that he can with the most integrity that he can. And so, yeah, man, I like Beggsy, man. I like Beggsy. I like Beggsy whenever he's been in the Devil's Lettuce. I liked a couple of times when y'all came from some wobbly pops out to the bar and Beggsy jumped on. That's a fun Beggsy. That's a fun Beggsy. So, yeah, good times.
Beggsy's a fun guy. He's more of a fun guy than me. Sometimes I wish I could get to his level, so I could be more fun for him. And maybe if I was more fun for him, he wouldn't have to. Again, we don't have to talk about the decision. We'll wait for Trevor to say what he's got to say. Anyways, Kiefer Sherwood, if you want to talk about the decision, I do think the Canucks are going to make the decision this month on Kiefer Sherwood. My intuition, my sources are telling me that. And don't you remember when Alvin, and I don't know if this was no, this was definitely before he extended Dakota Joshua, but he openly said, we got to go out and find the next Dakota Joshua. Now, ironically, they kept Dakota. They signed Kiefer. They had both of them. Obviously, Dakota, for all the, the real reasons, had a slower year this year, and we couldn't really see that version of the Bash brothers because that would have been a thing for sure. All that being said, I don't know if Alvin wants to lose if he can maintain Sherwood's salary at 4 below. I don't think he wants to lose both those guys in 12 months. You need guys like this.
Yeah, I do. I mean, look at our cup team, bro. Technically not our cup team, our almost cup team. I mean, look who we had on our third line. We had Rafi Torres and Max Lapierre. In a lot of ways, that's like Dakota Joshua and Kiefer Sherwood. And they fueled us. They fueled the bottom part of that lineup. They struck fear into opponents. You had guys coming around the back of the net for the breakout. Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrook, whoever it was coming out on the breakout. All of a sudden, here comes Rafi Torres. Oh man, lights out, son. And that's the type of stuff that Kiefer Sherwood can bring in a playoff atmosphere. And I cannot wait to see him in the playoffs, man, because right now we're wasting regular season Sherwood is not prime Sherwood. Playoff Sherwood is prime Sherwood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's interesting how it's been 14 or 15 months since Game 7 against the Oilers, and it's oh yeah, if Pettersson was half the player you should have been, we would have beaten the Oilers. But if Quinn Hughes was not hurt for the majority of that playoffs, thanks to Kiefer Sherwood injuring him in round 1, we're probably beating the Oilers too. That's how impactful a guy like Kiefer Sherwood is, because you could really look at his hit totals this year, and there wasn't so many bone crushing hits. He lays the contact because that's the type of guy he is, and he makes it difficult for teams. But we're not talking about bone crushing hits. But once the playoffs start and he hears the crowd, every hit's going to be bone crushing. He's willing to hurt himself to imply some sort of pain on another player, because that's how you got to save yourself. It's the war of nutrition, right? And it's you're not seeing Sam Bennett do that in November or whatever. They preserve their body for that type of hockey. And again, Sherwood injured Quinn Hughes. We forget about that. And if he wasn't hurt, dude, how does 14 what happens in last year's playoffs? Revisionist history, I know, but Sherwood's an effective player, man.
Yeah, you just took the words right out of my brain compartment, bro. I was literally just thinking about the fact that, and I was going to say, when those playoffs started against the Predators, Huggy was probably, let's say he was 100% just because that's what he was.
Yeah.
When that series ended, he was no more than 70% going into Edmonton. No more. And even though Huggy at 70 is probably better than most people at 100, it doesn't take away from the fact that you saw a difference in him, and you saw a more timid skater who was aware of the contact against Edmonton. You go back and look at that series, as much as Huggy had a great impact on it overall, man, because Petey was struggling so much. Huggy was trying to juggle two different, defense, offense, everything else. and protect himself at the same time. And they knew that. They knew that Huggy was susceptible because Kiefer really softened them up. And so that's a great point, man. So, like I said, imagine the type of weapon he would be in the playoffs. We go in there. Think about that first shift. He's on that first shift, and he's on that forecheck. Bam! And the crowd's just going crazy. Remember a few years back, we had that awesome first-round series against the St. Louis Blues. And I remember Edler was blowing everybody up. David Back was blowing everybody up. Like, it was just everybody, even the finesse offensive players for the first 5-10 minutes of the game, blowing each other up. I think that we could get back to that. And I think that Sherwood would be the catalyst for that for sure, man.
Yeah, dude.
For sure would, man. For sure would, man.
Exactly. Even on the, again, for a good conversation, you don't want to gas a third liner up this much, or a career fourth liner or an AHLer this much. But I just appreciate, again, the Quinn Hughes cosign means a lot. Like I'm like, yo, if I want to analyze a player and come to a conclusion on a player, it's one thing. But if Quinn Hughes is saying something, I'm like, yo, Quinn Hughes knows that this guy's actually a pretty damn good player. And he was right. Again, 20-goal scorer on his first year with no center help, for real. His best center was probably Pius Suter or whoever. Like, all in all, though, Kiefer Sherwood, a great guy. I'm trying my best to, create some good conversation here and play devil's advocate right now. And you look at the Florida Panthers, and it's like, you look at their bottom of their lineup, they're probably paying AJ Greer like $1 million and Gadjevich this and that, and people will come to the conclusion where it's like, you don't need to pay so many guys $3 million or $4 million, which I do agree with. But again, Kiefer Sherwood, to me, he's more of a middle six guy. I hate to do the Sam Bennett thing, but I don't think he's that far away, like, to being a poor man Sam Bennett, and that's still an effective player in the playoffs.
Yeah, you talk about that too. Like, I don't know if you remember, like, John Madden, he was an amazing two-way defensive forward for the New Jersey Devils, but he was always a 3C, sometimes even a 4C in the playoffs. He was making $3 million a year back then. So, I mean, and it's because he was a glue guy. Your bottom six needs to have one or two solid contributors and glue guys, and that is what Kiefer Sherwood is. But those are also the guys that have the ability to be able to go the upward mobility in the line, and they could go up to line one or line two. Because they can move their game up and down the lineup, and that's what John Madden was able to do. And so, in that regard, and knowing that Kiefer is a three-phase player outside of maybe the power play, that he can PK everything else, like, it makes him more valuable, and especially in the playoffs, man, it makes him super valuable. So, yeah, dude, we are talking up Kiefer right now, man. This is crazy.
Well, and that. I know, and we're gonna end it on this. Like, how can we not? I mean, how can we not be in love with Kiefer Sherwood? His first name's Kiefer, and he's playing in Vancouver.
Reaper.
This makes the most sense. And also, you brought up a nostalgic like moment. It could be any moment, any first round Canucks playoff series, like that first shift. There's whoever they're playing, like there's hits going either way, like whatever. It's magical, right? Whether it be in Rogers Arena or like we're playing a road game, like game one of the playoffs is magical. And I don't know if this was game one or game two, but it was like I remember Rick Rippon like laying like 3 or 4 hits on the first shift. You can watch this shift on YouTube, and it's just magical. And again, we're Canadian hockey fans. We love players like that. One love to Rick Rippon. Yo, Kiefer Sherwood has those vibes. He has those vibes, man. Like, we need guys like that in the playoffs. And the fact that we lost Zadorov last year and he gave the fan base that type of like bravado, you know what I'm saying? That type of edge. I don't want to lose Sherwood. I don't want to lose guys that, like, they don't need to score a goal or make a big save to have the fans on their feet and give us momentum.
I sure would not want him to go anywhere. Sorry, I don't know. I'm just all punny right now, bro. I'm sorry.
It's all good, man. You're having a good time. That's like Mother Knucker. And if you're listening to this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, go onto YouTube and just realize that Mother Knucker is our favorite fan of the show. He's always on. I hope we see you a lot of times next season. Like, we got to make this somewhat of a regular thing. Like, we'll work it out. DM me in the Discord. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a podcast studio too. I'm actually in the process of getting out of my closet, but my wife has convinced me, since I'm not playing hockey anymore because of medical issues, she's convinced me that the best thing for me would do a podcast for what I love, which is specifically what we talk about in the Discord, which is working with people and stuff like that. But there's going to be a lot of hockey. There's going to be some pro wrestling, a lot of music, because I'm actually jumping right back into the music scene too. And
Awesome.
I'm actually linking up with one of my old bands in Cali. We're working on a reunion show next year, and like it's pretty cool, man. I'm really blessed right now, man. Blessed, not stressed, but yeah, dude, we'll hook it up for sure, and I'll make sure I get out of the closet into something more presentable and professional.
No, I think this is as professional as it gets. Like, we're not the media, we're fans, bro. I'm not really trying to, like, blend those two too closely. Like, I think where you are is
Ah,
perfect. And again, whatever like listening platform you're listening to, like, do yourself a favor, spend time on YouTube and just like watch the Mother Knucker hits, and you just have a fun closet, bro. And this is all about being a Canucks fan, man. And it's a Saturday in August, and we're not hanging out with our ladies. We're talking about wood, Sherwood, because go Canucks, go Mother Knucker. Thanks for your time.
love you, brother.
One love, brother. Okay, thanks to Mother Knucker. Join the Discord, link in the bio. We'll read some comments. You're listening to Locked On Canucks. Okay, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. One love to Mother Knucker. As he alluded to, he's in a band right now. MGK asking, what is Mother Knucker's band's name? It's not Uncle Strut. It isn't Uncle Strut, but two things. If you want to know Mother Knucker's band name, join the Discord and talk to him there, or maybe he'll comment it right now if he's going to watch us on YouTube ASAP after leaving. But go check out Uncle Strut, because Mother Knucker's been talking about him after I, gave him that Vancouver love. We got to shout the West Coast bias and the West Coast bands here on this show. Who else is going to do it? And Mother Knucker's loving it, man. So much so that he's actually making love to some Mother Knucker music, or not Mother Knucker, Uncle Strut music, my bad. And I don't know how he's doing that, but go check out the best uncles in Vancouver. Again, Uncle Strut, that's UNCLESTRUT, friends of our studio, but more importantly, they're going to put on for our city. I guaranteed, okay? Anyways, let's get to your comments. Man, oh man. Okay, Jay Schro doing it again, bringing up the Burrows vibes with Kiefer Sherwood. Going into this episode, I wasn't really thinking of that, even though it's been said multiple times, not only on today's episode, but just in the past, and I could see that too. And just the bravado, the energy, the edge. That's a beautiful thing. Okay, next comment. Angelo saying Kiefer Sherwood is in the top 6 this year, and you can see him online with Jake DeBrusk, EP40, and Kiefer Sherwood. If you're new to the show, you would fully comprehend that I'm trying to push a narrative, right? And I have my own agenda, and maybe I want to make a T-shirt, okay? Because we're definitely doing that again this year. I want the UFO line to be a thing, so let's get Jake DeBrusk off Angelo's number 1 line, and let's just go Evander Kane, Elias Pettersson, and Kiefer Sherwood. Let's do that. Like, until we find a skilled winger, a playmaking winger, because the Canucks don't really have those on this team unless Filipino does move to the wing if they do get another 2C. But until we have that, let's give Elias Pettersson obviously some offense around him. Evander Kane, UFA year, he likes money. He's going to score some goals this year. Let's also give him Kiefer Sherwood. Let's give him the Bash Bros, and let's give him some bravado. Like, give him some bodyguards, okay? And I could see those 3 on the bench communicating, having fun in the locker room. Maybe Pettersson finds his pals in those 2. I don't know. It seems a little obscure, again, especially with the whole, like, JT Miller versus Pettersson thing, and now I'm here saying, Evander Kane and Pettersson, they could be, good pals. Just something is telling me it'd be very, 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 I don't want to say ESPN 30 for 30-ish, but like, considering what's been happening with Elias Pettersson over the last couple of years, it would just be so ironic if I don't know, him and Evander Kane just like strike up some accord in the locker room, and it does equate to like some fun stuff on the ice, especially with the local boy and Evander Kane. Like, it would just be so random, and I'm gonna say beautiful too. Like, anything that brings us success, okay? And it could be stylistically fun to watch as well. Next comment. Colin's saying I heard that the Canucks might offer sheet Zari from Calgary. I don't know if that's even possible because can someone do the math for me? Like, what would it? I mean, Connor Zari, like he's such a good player. Let me search out the NHL offer sheet. What would it be? The NHL offer sheet compensation? Okay, let's look at that and boom, bam. Because I would say Connor Zari is going to make like $7 million. Okay, so if you want to offer sheet Connor Zari, you're looking at giving up a first, a second, and a third, or maybe just a first and a third. If Calgary doesn't accept, and I think they'd be pretty stupid not to match like a $7 million offer sheet for that guy. That guy's got dog in him. He's got offense in him, right? You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I don't know if the Canucks can do that because do the Canucks even have their 3rd round pick for next year? Do they? Give me 1 second. Can I just? I want to make sure I'm right for you because if they could offer Connor Zari an offer sheet and screw over Calgary, they got to do this. So give me a second. The Canucks cannot offer sheet Connor Zari, okay? Ironically, Calgary, yeah, that's what I thought too. Calgary has Vancouver's 3rd round pick. Right? So if the Canucks go over, what is it? If they go over $7.02 million on an offer sheet, they're going to have to give up a first, second, and a third. Like if they go to 7.1, they can give up the first and no, they can't even do that because it's a 1st and 3rd round pick. They're not getting Connor Zari. It's not happening, okay? Yeah. That would be fun, though. Anyways, I think my time is over, okay? It's Saturday. I gotta actually cook some steaks for the bros, okay? So you just heard me cook some steaks. It's 2025. Hit the like button, subscribe to the show, hit the links in the bio, support the show. Happy wife, happy life. And your support goes a long way, and I really do appreciate it. And I know Trevor does too. Trevor, you know. Trevor Beggs, man. Full circle. Like, what are the chances that Trevor Beggs has to say what he has to? Like, Trevor Beggs' announcement next week. He made me do this show, and now he's got to make the announcement that Beggsy, man, I don't know. How am I going to repay you for this one, okay? How are you going to repay me? You'll see Beggsy next week, okay? Where am I going with it? Get out of here. My name's Kyle Bowen. Hit the like button again, like I said. Locked On Canucks, Don't Doze Art Lab, all that jazz. Go Canucks, go. Let us know in the comments what would you sign Kiefer Sherwood for and all that jazz. The comments really help the show out as well. And we appreciate you, man. All the love. Take care of your neighbors before you take care of the world. Or, let's be good people. And again, go Canucks, go.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.